is the night.
This is the night
I was created for. I'm gonna put on my best disguise and go knocking on everybody's door. This is the night.
This is the night
I'm gonna hit the street. 'Cause this is the night folks are giving away so many good things to eat. Oh, people, you know life could be so sweet if every night was a night to go trick or treat.
Trick or treat.
Wouldn't it be sweet?
Trick or treat.
Just a trick or treat.
Trick or treat.
Wouldn't it be sweet?
Trick or treat.
Just a trick or treat.
It was almost Halloween on the island of Sodor. All the engines were busily working as the stations and towns were getting prepared for parties, tricks, and treats. There was even the odd spooky story around the campfire to enjoy as well. Thomas was delivering some freight to one of the stations on his branch line. There, Miss Martin, the schoolmaster, was pacing about, waiting for a load of goods for the cafeteria.
Good afternoon, Miss Martin. You look a little worried. What's the matter?
Miss Martin sighed. She was glad to have someone to talk to.
We've got a lot of repairs to make around the school before winter arrives. I thought of doing a haunted house fundraiser, but I can't find the time to look for a place to hold it.
Why would you want to raise funds for a haunted house?
Oh, it's not quite like that. It's where people dress up their homes with decorations and spooks, and people go through it on a tour. They pay a little something to go inside, which can go back into fixing up things. I thought about doing one at the school, but the only thing scary about it is our funding.
Thomas was still confused, but he wanted to help Miss Martin and the children living on the branch line.
Don't worry, Miss Martin. I'll find somewhere you can set up your haunted house.
Oh, thank you, dear. That'll take it off my mind, like taking this food off the van.
As Thomas headed home, he kept thinking about where the fundraiser could be set up. He thought about asking the other engines at the sheds if they knew any good spots. But when he arrived at the depot, he found the other engines all enthralled in one of Otis's tall tales. He pulled up in time for one of the older stories that had been passed down to Otis.
Legends say that back when the railway first formed, there used to be a line that led all the way up to the island's first goods station. But anyone that went down the line had an unnerving feeling, like they were being watched by something. One night, a poor lost engine trying to return home went down the line by accident. The rails climbed a hold of the engine's wheels as the line dragged the engine 6 feet under. The line was closed, but it was never boarded up. So, any engine traveling late at night is warned to be careful, lest they be devoured by the line.
All the engines were quite scared by Otis's tale. Even Devon, who was trying to play it off, couldn't quite shake the look of fear in his eyes. Ahem! It was a costume Sir Topham Hatt. I know it's starting to get late, but I need an engine to make a delivery. There's a truck full of supplies that needs to be taken to the old crane dock, and after that, a scrap truck needs to be taken to the Ironworks. Are there any volunteers? Couldn't possibly be me!
I've had such a long day pulling goods trains.
My, allergies are starting to kick in.
Pah! A bunch of scaredy steamies.
I take it that means you're volunteering, Devon?
My fitter says it's bad for me to do last-minute runs.
Thomas looked over and put on a brave face.
I can do it, sir.
Excellent. The supply truck is waiting for you at Knapford. Be quick now.
Surprised you're so keen on doing that job. Aren't you scared the haunted line is gonna get you?
Ha! I'm not scared. Besides, I quite like the dark.
And with a whistle, Thomas set off from the sheds. He arrived at the big station and was coupled to the supply car. Soon he was on his way to the old docks where Carly the crane was loading up the scrap truck.
Hello up there, Carly! Over here! I've got some supplies to help you rebuild the old docks!
Ah, Thomas! Thanks a ton, mate. Guess you're also here to take this here scrap truck to the Ironworks?
That's right!
Word of advice, mate. I'd be quick about that if I were you. Hate to get caught up there during the dead of night.
But Thomas didn't listen. He was just thinking about how he was going to prove he wasn't a scaredy engine to Otis. He coupled up to the scrap truck and proceeded on his way to the Ironworks. But when Thomas finally arrived, it was a very different story. Rusting old wrecks sat around the tracks. Bits and pieces of machines were scattered around cranes and claws. Thomas left the scrap car on a siding, where a grabber was eagerly awaiting to crunch on in. Thomas's wheels trembled. Then came rumblings that gave him a shudder. A rumbling steam or diesel feared. The rumbles of the Iron Twins. Well, 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 if it isn't the blue puffball. Looks like you're a long way from home, eh, Bert?
Strange to see you venture out from your branch line this time of night.
I've come with the dock scrap. No need to worry about anything else. I should be on my way now.
Oh, but you've only just arrived. Make yourself toasty by the fire. Buffer 'em, Bert! Thomas didn't take long to make it back to the main line, yet he shot forward without thinking of where he'd end up. But there was trouble ahead. Some faulty points had become stuck and were leading towards an abandoned line. Poor Thomas didn't know about it until he found himself going down the wrong line.
Oh no! I'm on the haunted line! Otis was right!
Then there was trouble.
Cinders and ashes!
Thomas saw he was approaching the end of the line. Thomas found himself lying off the rails and wheel deep on the ground.
Oh no! The haunted line! It's taking me! Help! Help!
It's not gonna take you to the ground, you noisy engine.
Who said that? Who's there?
Over here, by that old oak tree. There you go. Now who in the blazes are you?
I'm Thomas.
Huh? What's that? Speak up, boy.
I'm Thomas.
Thompson?
I'm Thomas!
Huh?
My name is Thomas!
Well, Thompson, my name's Barry. Red Caboose Barry to some, and I used to work on this line way, way back in the day.
Thomas looked around and realized he'd ended up at an abandoned station.
What happened?
Well, it just got forgotten over time as new fancier stations got built. Also, there was something about the materials used in the station. What was it, asbestos or something? Anyway, they closed down the line and left me here in this setting.
I'm sorry that happened to you.
I don't need your sympathy. My time for being useful has passed a long time ago. Although, I still miss the company. Still, can't imagine I'll be around for much longer. Once help comes for you, I'll probably be sent to the scrapyard and be cut up and whatnot.
Thomas felt horrible. Poor Barry didn't deserve to be left in the buffers of Harry and Bert. Then, he remembered what Miss Martin said to him earlier that day.
That's it!
Huh? What's it? You ain't making sense, Thompson.
Don't worry, Barry. You're not getting scrapped anytime soon.
The next morning, help finally arrived in the form of Roger and Chuck. After the two had helped pull Thomas back on the rails, Thomas talked to Sir Topham Hatt about his idea. You'll have to get approval from Miss Martin before anything can officially happen, but it would be a great help towards her and the school.
Don't worry, Barry. I'll be back in no time.
And Thomas puffed away to collect Miss Martin. When they returned, Miss Martin examined the abandoned station.
It's perfect. Just the right place.
If that's the case, we'll get to work clearing the line immediately. Ha ha!
You hear that, Barry? You'll have company soon enough.
What?
Soon the line was restored into proper working order, and the station, after careful reinstallation, was ready for a spooky makeover. Soon after, everyone from around the island came to visit the haunted train station. And Thomas even helped out by being the station's very own ghost train.
I'm glad Pierce is away at the works right now. He would be terrified if he saw this.
What? Who's Percival?
The haunted station was a smash hit. It raised more than what Miss Martin expected and was able to help fund the school for the time being. In its off-season, the station now serves as a small railway museum that people can go and visit. Barry, while not going back to being a full-time caboose, was given a refurbishing and looks just like he did all those years ago. He enjoys the company of all that come to visit him, although he still has a bit of trouble hearing them.
I knew a ferret named Colson once. Gosh darn, stole my buffers.
Thomas is glad he discovered the line.
Otis was right. The line did claim me. Just not in the way I expected.